Everyone knows that the Monkey Sword Fight podcast is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects. So that's.
Is that from you? Is that from your show reel, Mike? Is that from your audition reel for your voiceover?
It will be now. Yeah, it's gonna be on there.
Done. Sound. Right.
Figure out how I can make myself bigger so I know if I look like a fucking idiot or not.
You don't, man. You look beautiful. It's fine.
What are you using? Laptop or iPad or what are you using, Jay?
A little tiny MacBook because it's the only thing I've got with a camera on it.
So what you should be able to do is you should have like one screen there, which is your screen, which if you hang your mouse over the edge of the corners, you can resize your actual screen, but everybody else should just appear like blocked off in threes.
Yeah.
There's Mike on the emojis again.
I hit that by accident. Sorry.
Right, so we get cracking, boys, aye?
Yes. Let's do
What's
it.
that?
Let me set up my brand new Andy Mack inspired snapback.
Oh, all black.
I need it. Look at this mess. I need to keep the hair out the fucking. I can't do it, man. I can't pull off a mohawk. That's not something I have in the wheelhouse.
Let me tell you something.
Have hair in the middle of your head, you can pull off a mohawk. Because it's meant to look ridiculous. So there's no way to fuck it up. You know what I mean?
I once did have a mohawk for about 2 days. I got absolutely smashed at a party and thought this is a fucking great idea.
It wasn't a great idea.
It wasn't a great idea. I kept it till the Monday morning. I'd give it in work and then it came out. Anyway, let's get cracking. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another lockdown episode of Monkey Sword Fight with Perth's premier podcast. With me, your host, Jordan Patrick. Fuck me.
Jordan Podpatrick.
Who is this guy?
I've went the last couple of weeks without doing a proper intro and it's completely gone. I feel like I'm doing a word with dots. I keep stumbling over myself. Talking of that, we have the big Nip.
Hey. Oh.
Nippity Doodah. Cons man.
The METHVEN man. Here I am.
Have you noticed me and Mike have really dialed that bit back now that we have to look at ourselves while we do it? Also known as Word with Dots. What you saying, mate?
I have because of our guest today, I have a specially Southern American themed Word with Dots today.
Oh, God.
Mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's true.
Also, because is Jay the first American guest that we've had?
Yes, I believe so. Holy shit, you're right.
I had to break out is my camera on? I had to break out the stars and bars for Jay.
America. Because it's back on mine now. It looks like Puerto Rico or something.
We've also got your old dad there on the ones and twos.
What's happening?
Perthshire Pirlo, and we're also joined by a very special guest and my own personal man crush, Mr. Jay West. How are you, son?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Nah, no worries. We've been trying to arrange this for a while. The thing is, lockdown's actually setting us up so we can get all of our guests who are out of Perth on the show. So we're actually hopefully going to get to tick off a few guests as we go. We've got Jay here to talk with us about lockdown, probably a bit of American football, and his new venture, the Tayport Breakers. Let's have a look. You got the hoodie on there, yeah?
Yeah, man. I got a bit of the merch going. It's pretty much all I own now. That's it. It's just all the boxes of crap that no one wants, so I'm just going to wear them all. It's fine.
We were the same with our first 12 t-shirts, I reckon. Probably still some Andy Max boxes.
Got one for every day of the week, so I'm good.
Nice one, man. Well, I think we'll get a bit of housekeeping. So, Mikey Dots, is this week's show still sponsored by?
Sponsored by Stevie Mac's Skate School. So, of course, we can't get down to the skate park now. You may get the police come at you. So, but you can use your skates or your bike, whatever you use to get away from them. But we're not condoning that. We're not condoning running away from the police. But once lockdown is over, get your ass down to Stevie Mac's Skate School. It's the perfect way to exercise, get out and get some fresh air. Also, it's not just for kids, but if you want to get your kids down, do something different. If they don't want to play football, they don't want to play rugby or anything else that's popular in inverted quotes there. you can get them out there. Stevie Mac is one of the best teachers. So get down to search out Stevie Mac Skate School on Facebook and tell them the Monkey Sword Fight guy sent you.
Speaking of Stevie Mac, shout out to Stevie Mac. Been messaging him back and forth, and the man's lost his sleep schedule. However, he has grown a fucking beautiful beard at this point.
I saw it, yeah.
Shout out to Stevie Mac. So, let's get cracking with our guests. So, we've got Big J West on. This is only the second time, I think. I've only spoken to you a handful of times, Jay. The first time was running away from you, playing against you for the Hurricanes after.
All right, after the Exodus. So
yeah. That was always one of my favourite stories to tell. Is you jumped, I hit your legs, you went down, and I ran away like a little bitch. So,
man, I was probably just trying to breathe enough to head to the sidelines. Like by that point, I was very much having the I'm too old for this chat in my own head. Like after every play, it was just like, yeah, this will probably be the last time this happens.
Jay was one of the cool guys that smoked cigarettes at halftime. I always loved those guys that did that. I always thought that was cool.
That's what linemen do.
Like I was gonna prevent myself from being fit in any way because I wasn't there anyway, so I might as well go back.
The way I always said, I don't know if you'll agree, is for a lineman, you've only got to be fast over those first sort of 5 yards. So
yeah,
you don't need us to run
deadly quick for like 10 feet.
Exactly. So just quickly, man, take us back. So how, obviously from America, so is getting into football just a natural thing when you grow up over there?
Yeah, man. Like I didn't even know that that they had American football here, and I found it in uni. I was just walking across the meadows in Edinburgh, and all these guys chucking the ball about, and I was like, started chatting with them, and they're like, "Yeah, man, you should come out." And I thought it was gonna be like flag or just something like that. And I turned up and they were in full kit, and I was like, wait, so you're gonna let my ass come out here and actually mix it up a bit, So I loved it, man. It was good, and was able to get back in some kind of decent shape at that time. Of course, it's all gone away now, but for that, year and a half, 2 years, something like that, it was really good for me just to be able to have something that I could identify with, something that was a bit normal, because everything was so very different from growing up in the rural South of the U.S. I mean, everything was completely different. So it was just nice to kind of have that on Sundays to go back to, and much the same way with baseball now. Actually, I think that's probably why I went that direction, was just to have something that's a bit familiar.
So how did you end up in Scotland?
I came over to go to uni. I got my master's degree in the science of English language from Edinburgh University, and then just stayed after that. So.
What was the attraction of going from you moved right across the world just for university, just to do something different?
Well, I was over here visiting some friends, and I've been looking at doing grad school anyway. I was teaching secondary school at the time, and in the States, when you apply to grad school, you have to pay all these ridiculous fees and all this kind of stuff, like even to just apply, whereas here you don't. So it was almost kind of a laugh, kind of a piss off, like it's like you should apply here.
Mm-hmm.
And not thinking that I was going to get in at all, and then when they contacted me and told me that they did want me in, then I was like, fuck, I better figure out a way to pay for it. So sold my soul to the student loan devil, but all worth it, all absolutely worth it. So.
Cool, man. So do you want to talk us through, so what is it you're doing now? How did the Tayport Breakers come about? And then I didn't actually realise, I think same as a lot of people with sort of amateur American football, I don't think people actually knew there was a baseball sort of league. Is that right?
Yeah. I actually used to live like maybe less than a couple of miles from the field in Glasgow, and I actually didn't find out about baseball until I moved to the other side of Glasgow. like you would think that I would have heard something about it or like seen someone cutting about in their kit, but it just happened to be that at the time I was still playing American football, and the games are both on Sundays, so you can't really do both.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's one of those situations like where every year it was, I was with a new team, and then kind of looking for that kind of last hurrah, or to relive some glory days or something. But quickly you start to realize that's probably not going to happen. So, but it's difficult to give it up, unless you've got some sort of fill in there. And so when I heard about the baseball team there, and there's actually 2 teams in Glasgow. Yeah, I think we're the only team that is the only team in a town. Like Aberdeen's got 2 teams, Edinburgh's got 2 or 3, and Aberdeen's got 2. So we're kind of unique in that those other teams, they've got people to play against every week, and plenty of guys up for training because you've actually got 2 squads there. So
yeah.
Whereas us, we're just kind of scrimmaging against each other, so we don't really get that that kind of pregame experience. But.
So how does the competition compare coming from America from football to baseball? So what I mean is like you played probably in high school in America football. And the competition I would say was maybe on par with what you would face here. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what about with baseball? If you played baseball in America,
kind of, probably depends on where in the U.S. you're talking about. You know what I mean? I mean, it's going to be bigger in some places than others, and a bit more of a competitive level. I was never really, huge in baseball. I mean, I played, when I was young, but football was always my major thing. But I've always enjoyed baseball. It just wasn't really like my priority. But the great thing about it is that, you don't, unlike American football, like you don't need a ton of money, and you don't need an absolute ton of kit. I mean, keep going. So it certainly got the potential to grow much faster, I think, than American football did. And it between the teams in England and the teams you got in Scotland, and really, it's actually pretty big already on its own. I can't remember how many teams there are down in England and other places, but I mean, like we've gone and played in tournaments in Belfast and different places like that, and there's loads of teams in Europe, over in Germany and Prague and places like that.
So do you think, or how much? I know it probably did. How much did the Major League Baseball bring in like the Red Sox and the Yankees and having their games over here, their European series over here? How much do you think that's helped kind of recruit guys to your team or just to teams in the UK? Period.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. There was some mixed feelings about it. Because it was such a small stadium and all this kind of stuff, which is good because you get like more home runs and that kind of. I mean, it set a record for home runs in a game, because it's like these pro ballers are playing on, the
Little League field.
Yeah, like a really small center field fence, and so of course they were just shooting the lights out of the place. I mean I enjoyed it. We went down with some guys, and it was great to see so many people from kind of all over the UK, to come in and really appreciate it. The people that were just kind of checking it out, it's like any sport, if you don't know a lot about it, you're probably going to be bored, if you don't have any kind of inkling already, to kind of find out what it's about. Or I'm sure that there were some people that just, had never seen it before and absolutely loved it and were just touched by it. You know what I mean? But, it is one of those things that probably kind of depended on which game they went to, because I know, you know, when there's a lot going on, it's really, really exciting, you know. But when it's kind of a blowout one way or the other, it can get a bit tired, you know.
Do you get
Yeah.
a lot of ex-cricketers, a lot of guys who used to play cricket who've decided maybe I want to turn my hand and have a shot at the baseball?
Yeah, a couple of times we've had a couple guys come out, you know, that said they got some experience playing cricket, you know, and then, I mean, there's certainly some transferable skills between the two. I mean,
for
you know,
sure.
the it's probably, I mean, honestly, I would love to find, you know, one of those cricketers that play. I don't even know the positions of cricket. I've been like one cricket match, but you know,
It's one more than a lot of people.
if you can catch that shit barehanded, going that quickly, you need to be my shortstop in baseball. That's
Third baseman.
yeah, exactly. Like I need someone with like super quick reflexes and getting that. You know, they can certainly catch it with a glove once they get the hand of it. But we've actually been fortunate enough that we've got a lot of you know, really experienced guys from, you know, the thing about building a team in Tayport, again, like I was just looking at, after moving here from Glasgow, had some great seasons with Glasgow, but after moving here, it was like, okay, you know, do I drive an hour and 15 minutes to Edinburgh to play, an hour and a half back to Glasgow, or an hour and 15 minutes up to Aberdeen or whatever, you know? And I thought, you know, that there's got to be a better way. And so I started researching teams in this area, and like there was one back in the day, and then they tried to restart it and it never worked and whatever. So I was like, well, there's a big field here, like next to my house. So I was just like, I'll just start one here. You know, I was a couple of tens in, you know what I mean? And really, you know, so like, honestly, it was about midnight one night, and I'm like making the logo, you know, this is the logo from my high school in Mississippi that I was teaching at. And so I just took the Tupelo logo, and I was like, well, now it's the Tayport logo. Just stuck it on a bunch of stuff. And then like within like 48 hours, man, like we had like loads and loads of interest on social media. And I thought, you know, well, yeah, you know, I mean, we had 40, 50 guys contacting us, you know, talking about, you know, that they wanted to come out. And we even had, even though we didn't play in the league last year, you know, we had some kind of preliminary training sessions, you know, because a lot of them are green and never played before and whatever. We had a lot of fun with it. I think a lot of people realized it wasn't going to be just like a walk in the park. So, you know, you start off with 40 or 50. I think we've kind of whittled that down now, you know, to a solid 15, 20 guys.
What do you think put people off the most? Like what scared a lot of those people away, you think?
I'm not sure that they were scared of it. You know, I think some of it, I think they were just kind of out for a laugh. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how committed they were to begin with, but yeah. I think that if anything discouraged them is just, you know, it is a lot of work. I mean, as far as, you know, it's a very technical game. In terms of the speed of it, you know, like I think a lot of them, you know, wasn't expecting to come out and play rounders like they were in the third grade or something, you know, and you know, it's a lot different when somebody's chucking that ball at you, you know, at speed.
It's scary, man.
A lot of people over here will have baseball is watching it on American films, and when you watch it in a film, the person hits the ball perfectly every single time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, however many miles an hour.
Well, see, that's been the hardest thing for me. You know, like, I mean, I picked it up, like I said, you know, 3 or 4 years ago, and the difference coming back to baseball versus coming back to American football is huge.
Yeah.
Like I had done enough American football, and to be honest, it's just a bit more my sport. You know what I mean? Like I came back and I was out of shape and whatever, but like, you know, 2 weeks later, I was pretty good again. You know what I mean? At least for the standard of the league at the time. And whereas baseball, I've been back in it for 3 or 4 years now, and I still suck. So it's like, you know, maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't. But I think that's what I like about baseball too, is it's not really, you know, I mean, there's always, you know, kind of the your big not as superstars, but I mean like your big stars on the team. You know, I mean who you know they're going to perform. You know, maybe they're more experienced or maybe just better athletes than other folks. You know, so it's good to have those skill guys, but it really is something that just about anybody can pick up. I mean like we've got a couple of guys here that had never picked up a ball before in their life. You know, until about this time last year, and you know since then, I mean like we had a long indoor training series, and I mean guys just working in their own gardens, and when we are able to get out and train, I mean they come in and they really just go for it, and I mean some of those guys have just improved exponentially since then, you know, and it's good to see that, which is kind of more what I'm in it for, you know, like I didn't start the team so that I would have a team to play for, you know. I started the team so that other people would have a team to play for. So it's nice to see, you know, some other guys, you know, kind of finding in it and getting just kind of a little glimpse of, you know, I mean, I'm kind of nostalgic about it, you know, like in a way that like a little kid would be, you know, like I remember like, you know, playing Little League and, you know, that kind of community environment, you know, which I would love to see develop, you know, from a small community like Tayport, and so far the community has been really, really supportive as well.
Okay. Also, I will say though, like, if you don't think wrestling is competitive, you've obviously never played in the Patrick's Easter Sunday game. That's a fucking like.
Apparently not. I'll come out next year.
I once seen my uncle who'd come off the back of heart surgery only about a year before diving into the long grass to catch a ball. Old cousin. So, you know.
We'll send them on over, man, because we need all the help we can get.
I mean, to be fair, we sell a lot of baseball bats in Scotland. It's just the balls and the gloves we don't seem to sell as many of.
That was the joke, you know, the run up. They were like, oh, the team in Tayport, you know, whatever. Granted, you know, like when I first started researching baseball in the area, the first thing that came up was like a news article of some boy battering some chick with a bat. And I was
my goodness.
Tayport banter.
How have you found? I know, you know, when we played for the Hurricanes and the lead up to me starting playing for the Hurricanes, getting equipment, you get it from the team, of course, but if you wanted to buy your own equipment, it was quite tough because you needed to order it from one site in the UK or you had to get it from America. How have you found finding like some of the equipment for the baseball team?
It's very similar to. I mean, there are a few dedicated stores, and it's actually more than one. I mean, there's probably 4 or 5. But it just depends on what you're looking for, and like sometimes like you get it and it's, you know, it's kind of like, you know, like ordering stuff from Amazon, like whenever like we started ordering, you know, the team kit and stuff like that. I mean, like I'd certainly ordered a few things that look great, you know, online, and then you get it and it's like a child's version of the glove, you know, and I'm like, no, it's not gonna work. I was like, no, it's 10 quid, fuck, you know, but you know, but for the it's been okay.
So you're saying don't go to Sports Direct for your baseball gear then? Is that what you're saying, Jay?
No, you'd be surprised. Occasionally, Sports Direct will have something like a Louisville Slugger baseball bat. You know what I mean? Okay. They'll have one to choose from. You know,
there will be no Sports Direct slander on this podcast. None.
So far, it's providing me my current daily attire, so I can't really during the current pandemic, whatever.
So just before we get into your lockdowns, so is there a process to get into the league that you guys are going through at the moment? Because I know like
we're in.
You're in.
Yeah, I mean it was just about. I mean, I guess we kind of started last year. You know, I mean it's not like we didn't have the guys there. Like I said, I mean we've got some really quality guys. I mean, our head coach Ross Marney, and then assistant coaches Jamie Keith, Scott Black, and then recently we added 2 more. We added Stephen Leeper, who came from Australia and coached different levels there, and you know has a good knowledge of the game, and most recently, Kyle Waddell has joined us as our kind of pitching coach, and hopefully he'll be taking the mound for us as well. He's got a lot of great experience, and you know, just having those guys in from the very beginning has just been absolutely invaluable. You know, but then bringing in as far as, leading into the league, I think we were able to show very early on that we were serious about it. And so, and the league is at that stage where it is, kind of growing and early. It's not like, like with American football, like where you've got, consignment years and stuff like that, where you've got to prove, because like who would we prove it against? You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to be showing up and playing games, I want it to count, and I think we had enough experienced players for us to just, go ahead and say, all right, we are going to do this. So let's just start it off right.
What would you say has been the hardest position to fill? Because I would assume, like, to get a quality pitcher would be probably one of the hardest positions to fill. So from your experience, I would again assume that, getting people who have got good hand-to-eye coordination and who can bat a bit or play first base, second base, shortstop, whatever, that's okay. But actually getting a pitcher would maybe be the hardest position to fill. Would that be right? Or
yeah, I mean, certainly your pitcher is one of the positions that you certainly, it's kind of always in the back of your mind, because, it's not just one that you've got to find, you can't rely on the arm of one guy to get you through the whole season, though it has happened before, but that's not really fair to those guys, because they're really putting their body through, the ringer there trying to get you to the end. And usually they're burnt out by the end of the season if they don't have some relief, so like we start off pretty early looking for, multiple pitchers, 2 to 3, solid guys that we can really, kind of depend on, which luckily we've been able to find, different degrees of guys, as far as experience level. I think the good thing is that, unlike American football, again, there's not a whole lot of youth programs, you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas baseball, there are different levels, of play, kind of coming up. I mean, like we got guys that have been playing baseball, for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, so they are experienced in that way, maybe not at the level of, what you might see guys coming out of the States, though we do have a few expats on the team as well, which is always good. I mean, like just to have those guys come in and just kind of already know at least like what to expect from a training session,
That's the thing as well. So I'm completely at a loss when it comes to baseball. So what is the setup like, just for someone as naive as me when it comes to this? So what is it? How many people are on the field at any one time? Sort of what's your average sort of squad you're looking to have as well?
All right, so it's 9v9, and you're looking, you can show up with 9 guys and play, but it's tough, if somebody gets hurt or, maybe, certainly from a strategic point of view, it's nice to have guys that you can shift in and out and give guys a breather and that kind of thing. If it gets if it ends up being kind of a fast-paced day, or if you're playing a doubleheader, you got 2 games in a row back to back. You're going to need some relief for some of these guys. So it's better to go in with 10, 15 guys, so that you can do that. But it's not really like American football. You got guys that play defense and guys that play offense and guys that play both. In baseball, pretty much everybody who's in the field, they're going to take a turn in the batting order. You know what I mean? Yeah. We do have they made the rule in this year, to follow suit with one of the rules in the majors where where we will have a designated hitter within the lineup. So even though there's only 9 guys in the field, we're going to bat 10. Mm-hmm. And more than anything, that's really just a way to get more people involved. Get more playing time. To people. And so we're hoping to use that as well. Trying to get as much playing time for the people, that we can. But at the end of the day, it's not T-ball out here. We're playing to win. So we're gonna
absolutely, man.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna put the best 9 on the field, and that's probably not me. So I'll be sitting on the sideline. you know,
What position do you play, Jay?
something. So
What's your preferred position?
I play first base because I'm a big target and I can't run. So that's what I'm doing.
Like an excellent position, if you ask me.
Yeah. The
The
problem
big guys.
is that every team's got like 5 first basemen. So, but
He's
again,
playing the role of the gaffer. He's the gaffer, mate.
I'm just gonna sit back and just look like I know what the hell's going on, and
spit a few times. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'll look at my clipboard like I'm working something out, really some sort of really advanced play. But
You just shit in big letters, like fuck.
You gotta scream Blue from the dugout a few times. Come on, Blue.
Yeah. The number of like whoever's up, you don't even know their name. Let's go. 4-2.
Let's go 10.
Yeah.
Here we go 10.
That's it.
Beautiful. We'll get the deets for the Breakers at the end of the episode, so if people are interested, once we're allowed back out our houses, we can come along.
Cool, man.
So talking about lockdown, how are you getting along with the whole end of the world?
I'm okay, really. I'm not like we moved here, like I said, roughly a year ago, and at that time I went from I was teaching at the International College in Glasgow, but when we moved here, I decided to take my second job as my full-time job, which I do from home. I work for a company that we work with education programs in the U.S., and it's a lot of crunching numbers and statistics and that kind of thing. So I do that from my home office anyway. So, I guess really there's not a whole lot of change there. Other than the fact of just being told that you can't really go out. You know what I mean? It's like, somebody tells you that you can't do something, automatically you want to do it.
You've already sort of got the working from home discipline down.
Yeah, well, I was still kind of working on it anyway. I'm not a huge fan of it because like in some ways you feel like you're never really at work, but some ways you feel like you never really leave work either.
Yes.
Like I'll be sitting here working, thinking about all the stuff that I really need to be going to do, cut the grass or clean up, whatever. But at the same time, I'll be sitting on the sofa late at night and I'll be thinking about this report I got to write. You know what I mean?
Because you're in the office, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to draw the line between the two, particularly because I work U.S. hours, so I've got that 6-hour time delay.
Oh yeah.
It's great in the morning because I feel like I can kind of sit around and not really get started until later because everybody else is still asleep. But like there's been a couple of days, where I'm kind of, I've worked a good, 6 to 8 hours or whatever, and then, I'm kind of putting things away. I'm starting to make dinner and all this kind of stuff, and then somebody will call because it's only noon there, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get right on that tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
So have you got any things that you do specifically to like make sure your productivity is like at a high? Have you got any things that you try and avoid during the day when you're working?
I try not to work the entire time. This may be where my own kind of personality. I'm a bit ADD anyway, so it helps me to like work for an hour and then go do something else for 15 minutes. I mean whether that's just sitting and look at my phone or I would say read the paper, but that doesn't really exist anymore. But you know what I'm talking about, like something that's not going to take me away from it for like don't start watching a movie because you sit on your ass and watch it the rest of the day. Just things to try and break up the day. Take the dog for a walk, whatever. Much like what people are learning right now. that's just kind of it's kind of become everybody's norm here lately. So.
What about yourself, Mike? Are you starting to settle into it, do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. But I'm kind of like Jay, where I need to, because these kind of little 15-minute breaks that Jay mentioned, they were already in your day when you were working in the office and during normal life, but you just weren't conscious of them. But now you kind of have to kind of manually insert them in your day so that you can go do something. So when my daughters are here, it's cool. It's not really cool because I don't really get much done, but it's fine because I have to stop and I got to answer fraction problems and all that shit. But if they're not here, like I think Connie at one point was concerned. She was like, you know what? Because she normally comes home from work and will take the dogs out. And then she was like, you know what? I'm not coming home. You take the dogs out. Because she was like, you need to get off your ass a little bit and go out with the dogs and get some fresh air. You can't stare into that laptop for 10 hours a day and be sane at the end of it. So it's just getting those built-in breaks, like Jay said.
I got a row because I came through to bed last night and where my sort of workstation's in the bedroom because it's the only table we have is her dressing table. And as I realised my laptop was on at like 9:30 last night. And I opened it and I ended up responding to like 3 emails because I'd seen them from before I'd left. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I literally finished work fucking 4 hours ago.
Yeah. It's tough. I may have said this in a previous podcast because some other people, because they have kids or whatever their situation is, they have to work different hours than they normally would work. So they may be okay working at 7, 8 o'clock, and they'll reply to your email that you sent at 8:30 in the morning, and then you see it and you're like, oh, let me respond to that. I was like, nah, you need to wait. That's not your schedule. You need to wait, and you'll do it the next day.
What about you, Andy? How are you getting on? How's the ghoulie?
Well, no, actually, just to touch on the work thing, it's tough, man. Like, I mean, obviously, I teach at UHI, and it's tough because your students might send you an email at 8 o'clock at night, and your temptation might be, I've seen that, I'll reply to that. But I think you guys know me and my mentality well enough that I'm on for 9 o'clock in the morning. If I've got stuff to do, I'll do it. But once it gets to the point where that's me done for the day, I'm off.
Yeah.
Good night.
Gotta be.
Good night. Like, that's it. I switch it off. For me, just dealing with lockdown, I think the big difference for me over you guys is that you all have wives, girlfriends, partners. I don't. But no, I mean, I don't. I'm single. I don't have a girlfriend or anything just now, so I don't have those kind of things like you guys do, where it's like, okay, well, I've finished work now, we'll sit down, we'll watch a movie, we'll have dinner together. I mean, I've been literally on my own for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, you know what I mean? So spare a thought for those who don't have wives, girlfriends, partners, all that kind of thing, or who are living alone, because it's not always that easy. I think for me, you guys know what I'm like. My mentality is, this is what I'm doing, this is when I'm doing it, and then once I'm not doing it, I'm switched off from it completely. And that's the way that I treat my work. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I'm contracted and I'm paid for so many hours. I will always put in my hours. I've actually put in a wee bit more as well because, for the students, if you're trying to study at this time, man, this must be absolutely mental.
Mm-hmm.
This must be crazy. So for me as a lecturer, I have to sit down and kind of say, well, look, I will always go above and beyond for my students. But as I say, when it gets to 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, I wouldn't be working past 3 o'clock. So literally my email is shut from then because, I've got my life and the things that I do as well. I'm not on call 24 hours a day. I know that sounds harsh and I don't mean it to come across there, but I think kind of what I'm alluding to. Do you know what I mean? And obviously I've got mental health things to look out for as well, because as I've said before, I live on my own. So, I don't get to say, well, okay, that's me done for the day. Let's have dinner. Let's watch a movie. Let's, do whatever. I've not got the kids coming. I've not got the dog to walk. I've not got any of that kind of stuff. So maybe that makes it a bit easier for me just to shut down a bit. But guys, I'm coping all right. You know what I'm like.
I was just going to say, are you like...
Mate, I've got a Slazenger top on. I've got a can of Tennant. That's doing fucking brand new, mate.
But that's a good point, Andy, because not everyone, like, you may not have those things that you mentioned, but you also have something that you have a second job, which is music, that you will get stuck into and will spend hours and hours a day on. And not everybody they're not passionate about a hobby. You're not passionate about anything. And they'll sit there and there's only so much Netflix you can watch. There's only so much music or podcast that you can listen to. And people may be clawing at the walls to go do something. So, Yeah, you should spare a thought for your friend that isn't as passionate about anything as Roll Eyes.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. The last few days, particularly over the sort of weekend and into the start of the week, dude, all I could think about was just jumping in the car with the golf clubs, heading down to the Inch. Nobody would have been there. I would just thrown a few balls out in the fairway, and then just worked on shots and just done what I would have done, gone out and had practice. But I can't do that. I just want to go out and play golf and, get some fresh air, get some exercise. But again, it's not like I can go to the missus, oh, do you want to go for a walk? Come on, we'll do it. It's just me walking along the road on my own. Like, I don't know. It's weird. I definitely will say one thing. I put on weight since lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
Fuck yeah, man. Of course I have. I'm drinking fucking about 6 nights a week, mate.
6, amateur.
Yeah. Coming from the guy that's looking like Kurt Angle over there. Like, all you need is the gold medals, bro. You suck. No, I'm But no, it's true. It's like, like having those things to do and all that kind of shit, it does make a big difference if you can't get out or, you've got no communication outside of, your job and all that, and you're living on your own. It must be tough, man. Like, I can imagine a lot of people are finding this really, really hard. Like,
I don't know. I genuinely don't think I'd be able to cope by myself. I'm terrible being stuck indoors. So I think if it wasn't for Chuff, I'd probably have lost my mind about 3 days ago. Easy. I don't know about anyone else. Is Mike, how's Connie dealing with you being in the house all the time?
Well, she's still at work, so she's fine. She's off next week, so we'll see if she wants to kill me. If I don't make it to next week's podcast, she's killed me and stashed my body somewhere in the house.
And she was probably well within her rights.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that she's wrong in any way. I've probably definitely done something to piss her off.
You look like you guys have been having a lot of fun, Mike. I've been seeing some of the TikToks and some of the gymnastics and stuff that you've been doing.
Yeah, she's kind of going a bit stir crazy because she goes to like a circus class where they swing from the silks and they do trapeze stuff. And she's quite athletic and energetic herself. So we've been going out and walking the dogs. But besides that, she's not getting that fixed. She was just out for a bike ride. She's back now, but so she wants to go and she's missing her circus class. So she's in a Facebook group with all them. So sometimes I'll put little challenges in there. So sometimes she'll just come in the room. She'll be like, "Can you do a handstand for 20 seconds?" And I was like, "Look, Connie, unless you want shit in this house broken, I'm not getting on my head and doing anything because there's absolutely no way my big ass is leaning up against the wall and doing a handstand."
Not with that crack in the wall, Mike. You don't want to do that. The house will be falling down.
I know. You're cracking my wall. The roof is fixed, by the way, guys. The roof is done.
Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, shout out to the roofers.
Oh.
It rained yesterday, and I was like, fuck that rain. It's fine.
Fuck that rain. I don't know if I talked about it, but like the two toddlers that live next door, and obviously the week before last when it was gorgeous weather, couldn't sit in the back garden because these two kids were just running about daft in the back garden. Mum and Dad obviously didn't give a fuck. Like they would just sit inside and leave the kids bolting about, so the kids would then latch on to the next people who would give them attention, which is me, because apparently I'm every child's best friend. Is that, excuse me, what are you doing? Or they think Chuff's my mum. Is that your mummy making your lunch? And then I thought it was maybe because they hadn't seen her, but then she went out and then they goes, "Excuse me, where's your big boy?"
It'd be funny if you just went, "Ma! Where's lunch?" Speaking of food, I just want to quickly touch on this before I forget. Jay, at what point can we do something? It doesn't need to be on the 4th of July, but we need some of your barbecue expertise. And I need something.
Hopefully we won't be in lockdown, man. We can all get together.
Hell yes.
Please God.
Yeah, there'll probably be something going, probably with the ball team, to be honest. So, if that's the case, I'll certainly keep you guys in the know and pull the barbecue out there or something, or do something here at the house, before going over. So.
Josh did say that you don't mind beer at practice, so this may sound like the sport for all of us, to be honest with you.
Who said I don't mind beer at practice? That's bullshit.
Now you got Stash's big ass head in trouble now. Thanks a lot, Jordan.
Oh man, I think I think Stosh was having a bit of fun with you because honestly, man, I mean, like he's one of the guys that just comes out and just works his tail off every time.
That's what man. Like I always thought this when you look at him, like he does not strike anyone. He's like so big and friendly, and then you put him on some sort of sports field. I've only played next to American football, and he just goes from this big lovable lump of a man to this absolute beast. So I can imagine the same on.
He tries hard for sure, and again, I mean, like he's one of those guys just incrementally getting better, So
yeah.
What position does he play?
Probably first base.
He's one of the first basemen. Shout out to Stosh, man. Love Stosh.
Big stuff. So we actually didn't do this last week, but one of our regular features, Bra or No.
Bra or No? We didn't do it last week. We haven't done Bra or No for like the last 2 weeks, actually.
I wasn't even prepared for music there, guys. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's all right. We haven't done it for the last like 2 weeks, I think. So we got a couple on the post from this is from the 23rd, so from our last podcast. So Jay, we'll start with yours. The Last Dance documentary so far. So has everyone watched it?
Fuck aye.
Oh boy. So the Last Dance documentary, Bra or No?
Oh man, like I think everyone, whether or not we talked about crossover stars before. Like there's always someone in some sort of genre or sport that even if you're not really familiar with the sport, you know that person. And I think before LeBron James, that one was Michael Jordan. Like even like 7-year-old Jordan from Scotland had heard who Michael Jordan was.
Yeah.
And that was probably something to do with Space Jam as well. Classic, by the way. But I've never actually seen that side of him. He comes across as a bit of a dick, if you ask me.
Definitely, but I don't know. He's like a drill sergeant in some ways, where he's like, look, I don't give a shit what you do, let's just win. And I thought it was really telling. I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan. I know I said it every single time, but it was really telling when they won their first championship. Spoilers, and he was crying, holding the trophy, and all his teammates were like, "Yeah, that was the first time we saw him show any emotion besides anger at us." And I was like, "That's crazy."
We did not think he was capable of happiness. We just thought of rage all the time. What do you think? Have you caught up with it, Jay? Are you up to date with most of the episodes?
Yeah, man, I liked it. Still liking it. I like that. I mean, it does show, kind of that more unseen side of Jordan himself. He's not just selling fucking Hanes underwear and basketball shoes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or is it Hanes, Fruit of the Loom? I don't fucking remember.
Hanes, yeah.
But but like, he's not just this kind of marketing icon. I mean, he is a real human being, and certainly in those early days, was kind of struggling, internally with the things that were happening, even as he was having great success. I mean, like there's that bit, spoilers, like where he's talking about, that at one point, like he was just known as the guy, who wins scoring titles, but not championships. Shit, most of us would think it's fucking awesome to win scoring titles.
Yeah.
But I mean, like to see that kind of, kind of mental process that he was going through. But also, I really like to see, now that it's started, to kind of go in on some of the other players that, like I was always a big Scottie Pippen fan. And like he got a lot of heat, over, kind of, how things, went during a couple of years. So it's interesting to hear him talk about it. And, that dude, man, he needs to voice over some stuff.
Wow. Right.
What's going on? I know they're all big dudes.
That's like James Earl Jones quality deep. You know what I mean? Like,
hell yeah.
Have you seen the size of his hand? There's like one shot and his fingers are like out to here.
Oh yeah, all of them, man.
They're all giant men. Yeah.
Like an alien film or something,
I've quite enjoyed the Dennis Rodman episode. Was quite enlightening.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
I don't know about like. So I was never big on like. I knew who he was, but I only really ever seen him as I knew he was a basketball player, but he always looked fucking crazy. I was never actually massively familiar with the fact that he was actually a really fucking good basketball player.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that they, again, I mean, like really showed kind of that other side, and I mean, he's written, some kind of biographical, kind of stuff. I think he did a book or something. With like unless you took the time to read that, you probably didn't know about a lot of the stuff that was going on. And some of that film, it really does show, probably him more than some of the others. That, I mean, here's a guy who really, really, is having some, some internal struggle there with everything that's going on, and so many people just knew him as this persona that he had created, and it was nice to hear, what he had to say behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than just, there he goes with Carmen Electra again in Vegas or whatever,
Oh, by the way, Carmen Electra still looking fantastic.
Holding up well.
True.
Yeah, just to bring it back, it's been a big brawl for me so far. Like really well put together. Like, I don't know, you can't beat a good sort of sport documentary. Like, if it's well edited and well put together, just gets you fired up for that sport in particular.
Yeah. Which is dangerous, because then you start thinking mad shit like you can actually play basketball.
Oh, man,
I can't.
I was saying, I've been watching QB1 on Netflix, the American high school football documentary. And I'm sitting thinking, like, I could still fucking do this. Like,
Working your arm and shit, like, oh, I could throw a ball. What do you mean?
Pick it up and your back cracks,
I pulled the muscle in my back from sitting funny too long. That's where I'm at now. It's gone. What else we got here?
We'll go away from. We'll go away quickly from sports. We'll come back to that. So Ian Shepard said ASMR videos, bra, something to wind down after a stressful day or to help you sleep if you're having trouble getting to sleep. Anyone ever listen to any of these videos?
What the fuck is that?
It's like videos where they like sit and do stuff like crack, like bubble pop, like the air packaging, or like like the sound of the waves or the sound of just like wind at night with wind chimes. It's like
okay.
It's bullshit.
Time I could, I can get down with that, but watching some cunt pop bubble wrap, I'm not.
Can I say though?
Episode title.
Yeah, can we get cunt on YouTube, or I don't know.
As somebody who cracks like their knuckles and like literally can crack all my joints, like you name it, I can crack it. I do sit and watch people cracking their backs, cracking their necks. That's like ASMR. Like,
came with the best.
So I'm gonna say bra, man.
All right.
I don't want it, but I want to say bra.
I'll have to show. There's an ASMR video of Gillian Anderson from the X-Files, the female.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so she's actually got a really posh, sultry English accent, and there's an ASMR of her just whispering things into a microphone. So for that one alone, I'm gonna say bra.
What was she whispering into the microphone?
I think that's for a different reason.
You don't want to know.
I'll find the video and I'll fire it over to you, Andy. No worries.
Lovely.
So Ian put a couple of links on the page. There was one that I listened to. It's called Ultra Fast Raw Barbershop Sounds. So it was like the sounds of the little the covering that they put on you and the scissors and everything and the buzzers. It's not something that I could fall asleep to, but it reminds me of a time when I had hair and I had to go to the barbershop.
It's like a VR experience without the visuals at Badlands.
Yes.
All right. Shout out to the Badlands boys.
Yeah. I'll go bra for that too. Yeah.
I say bra.
We'll do one quick one. The NFL virtual draft, another Jay West one. Bra or no? I don't know if anyone's had a peek at that.
I've seen bits on Instagram, but it's never been a big thing for me.
Yeah.
I think I don't know about anyone else. I don't follow a lot of like American college sports, so I don't really know any of the guys that are coming up. So I just tend to watch the games rather than. And it's just really the NFL that I see, which I know that a lot of people prefer. College game. But,
yeah, well, I follow a lot of college ball, so I always find it interesting. I mean, I found the first round interesting. Unless there was somebody that particularly I thought would go in the first round and they didn't, then I might watch long enough to see where they do go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the kind of thing that depending on what time it is, it's not a game. Like I'm not staying up till 4 a.m, you
No
know,
way.
watch this. I'll get the highlights on ESPN tomorrow morning. You know, but
Let's jump onto Twitter and it'll give you the breakdown list.
That's what I did. Yeah.
I thought it actually went fairly smoothly. You know, like I thought it was gonna be a bit of a train wreck with all this shit, but you know, they kind of were on it. You know, I mean, you know, like there was the odd clip, like Mike Vrabel, the coach for the Titans, like there was like some shot of like his kid taking his shit in the background.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
I saw that. Yeah.
I did want to actually, just talking about the draft, did any of you guys see that thing that was going viral on the draft where the girl tried to look at the boy's phone and then the guy was like, no. Like, he ain't looking at my phone. Like,
Yeah, I saw that. They said that it was his agent that was calling, and you know they played it down as if it wasn't a big deal. It was just funny to see.
Just that.
the internet spun it
His
nicely.
agent calling, but that snatch, that's a don't be looking at my phone because I done told you not to. That's what that is.
There may be another woman texting or calling, so please don't look at this right now.
Did anyone ever see that? It was the football player getting interviewed after his game. He got man of the match. And he's like, I want to thank my wife and my girlfriend. And he went, I'm going to go.
I saw that, yeah.
Gags.
I thought that the draft went quite well for what it was. I mean, I saw quite early in the week. I've been watching NFL Network for the last like 2 weeks, but just while I've been working. And they sent kits to all the draft picks' houses, just cameras and tripods, and they gave them phones and everything to make sure that they were able to broadcast what they were doing.
Yeah.
And it just went off without a hitch, really. It went off really, really well. So I'll give that a bra.
Did you hear about the darts player? So they were going to do the next darts championships like via online matches. So obviously you can just set up the stuff and you throw your darts. However, one guy wasn't allowed to compete because his Wi-Fi wasn't strong enough.
That was Gary
that's not-
Anderson,
That was yeah. Got knocked.
two-time world champion, man. And the guy's like, I can't compete because my Wi-Fi is not good enough.
It's got
And then he
Virgin.
had to share screenshots of his download speed and his upload speed. His download speed was like 3 meg. I was like, how the fuck can you get anything done on that, mate? Jesus.
That's why he's good at darts. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think is there any more draw? No, has anyone got anyone they want to bring to the table?
No.
No, we're all good.
We dive into a bit of watching and listening to.
We can, yeah.
What have you been watching? There you go. Bosh. Who wants to go first? Michael.
I'll go first. Oh, I felt like I was in school just there, and I had to. Michael, what is it? I don't know.
What's that you doing, Michael?
Yeah, of course, The Last Dance. We talked about that already. I'm not going to go too more into it. Love it, though. Love Michael Jordan. All things Michael Jordan. I watched Avatar for the first time. That's a really good movie.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's
Mike.
long, but it was good.
Have you ever seen? There's like an old animated film called Ferngully.
No.
It's like a Disney film. It's the exact same film.
Is it?
It's like a live cut version. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Ferngully meets the Smurfs, man. That's all it is.
Yes.
I'm just going to nip for a pee, boys.
It too,
All
though.
right.
But
Yeah.
that film came out in 2009, Mike.
I know it's been a while. I know Connie's been telling me to watch it, and then we finally had 3 hours to spare and sit down and watch it. So I thought it was good. I'll give it a 7.5. I thought it was all right. It's a good story to it. Also, it was just weird. It was a weird movie day. It was just right after I was on the bike for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we watched The Departed right after that. So that's like 6 hours of movies, almost 7 hours of movies back to back. Departed is a good movie.
from Avatar to The Departed.
Yeah. That is a really, really good movie. Again, it's a little bit too long. It's maybe about half hour too long, 45 minutes too long, but it is still good. Jack Nicholson is just off the charts as usual. I give that an 8. Really good movie.
Wrong.
Hate the Boston accent though.
Anything else?
No, that's all I got.
You go. Jay, what about yourself, mate?
Let's see. Watching. I watched Ozark when that was going, but that was a quick burner because you just kind of want to keep watching them. You know, it's kind of like watching Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul or something like that. Better Call Saul, I've been watching, keeping up with. You know, in certain ways, like I think Better Call Saul. I won't say it's better than Breaking Bad, but I think it's got some really dynamic characters. You know, that
Ooh.
I think that's worth watching because I was a big Breaking Bad fan, but I've never got around to Better Call Saul.
Me either. Yeah.
it's really good. Like, I'd go. It's kind of making me want to watch, like whenever they do wrap it up, you know, I'll probably go back and watch Breaking Bad again, you know, because obviously it's like a prequel, you know, or part of it's, I don't know. And then, you know, The Last Dance. Oh, I watched. You were talking about other sports documentaries. I watched. There's a documentary about Kurt Russell's dad, who in 1973, 1977, he was the manager of a baseball team called the Portland Mavericks. It was a minor league team, and it was the only, you know, all of your minor league teams are affiliated with a pro team, and they kind of, you know, it's a farm league system that, you know, that feeds the higher ones, and it was unheard of. And now I don't even think you can. I think because of this, they made a ruling that you can't have an independent minor league team. But basically, they're like, you know, we're gonna do things our way. We're not gonna, you know, take any crap off everybody. And it's kind of like a live action, you know, one of those films like The Replacements or Bad News Bears kind of deal. You know, like it is just like the biggest motley crew of fucking guys coming through there, and just wild stuff, you know, like all the crazy stuff that they did. I mean, like to get fans in the stands and all that kind of stuff, and from someone who's, you know, kind of dragging something up from scratch, you know, I found that really, you know, really interesting to watch. But it's a great. I think it won a lot of awards at like the Sundance Festival and stuff like that. It's just really well shot as well from a screenwriter point of view. It's really good. Really interesting to watch. So the Battered Bastards of Baseball.
Battered Bastards of Baseball.
I think it's on Netflix as well.
Okay.
But solid 8 out of 10.
Ooh,
All right.
that's strong.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
Are we doing listening to as well, or is that?
Yeah, good.
Listening to, I pretty much listen to outlaw country, which is kind of like it's country that doesn't get a lot of radio play. It's usually a bit more kind of rock blues kind of vibe to it. So a lot of Cody Jinks, Sturgill Simpson, Tyler Childers. And then I've also been listening to like some Alabama soul, like some kind of more modern soul funk compositions, like St. Paul and the Broken Bones. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
I heard them.
They're really, really good, man. Just, you know, it's like an actual like a 9-piece band with, you know, brass horns and everything. It's just, that guy's voice is just phenomenal. And that's pretty much it, really. Just, I haven't really been looking for anything new to listen to, which is strange because like you think you would with like all the time, you know, that everybody's got. But in a way, music is one of those things I think that it always kind of brings me back to a normalcy state, you know. So you kind of, it's the comfort food music, you know, like that you kind of.
The old rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it for me.
I have another sport. I started watching QB1 on Netflix. I think there's 3 series out. So I accidentally started watching the 3rd series first, but that's really enjoyable. I love a good American football documentary. Nothing makes you feel younger than not being able to play that sport anymore. I've not been watching loads, but I revisited, like Jay was saying, I revisited some of my favourite albums from back in like the Mosher days. So I listened to Blink-182's Take Off Your Pants and Jacket and Enema of the State. Fucking beautiful albums, man. Fucking, like Jay was saying, they take me back to just feeling like sort of 15 or 13 or 14, whatever it was when those albums came out. When me and my pal started playing them and had them on in the background, like on repeat while I've been working the last few days. So They both get 9 bananas from me, man. Fucking crackers.
Hey.
Also, Fall Out Boy's Infinity on High. Another great album. Me and my pal, one summer when that came out, we like literally sat and played FIFA every other night, drinking, listening to that album on repeat. So that's another strong one. That gets an 8.5 bananas out of 10 for me. What else?
Can I just say, Enema of the State was Blink 182, not Sum 41?
I said Blink 182.
I thought you said Sum 41.
No,
Nice to Blink.
Oh, I'll just fuck off then. Sorry.
I've been reading another graphic novel called The Filth. It's fucking mental, man. It's one of the craziest books I've ever read in my life. But I'm only been able to get through like maybe 10 pages at a time because it's off the fucking wall. So I'll report back in a month with an update on that. I feel like I should have more. I feel like I've got more time on my hands. But that's all from me. What were you selling, the Mac?
Yeah, a few bits and bobs. Obviously, you guys know I've been working through an old hard drive this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Aye.
I found a lot of old music, man. I found a lot of old stuff I did with a lot of different artists from like 2007 to maybe 2014. That's taken up a lot of time this week. As far as like stuff you guys would recognise, I want to give West Side Gun Pray for Paris a rating this week.
Oh, what do you got?
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, Mike.
Okay.
It's good, but I get a little frustrated sometimes with West Side Gun and Rock Marciano, particularly with, like Rock. I think he's such a great lyricist, but with West Side Gun as well, they rap over so many beats. They're talking about, we're doing it the old school way, the old boom bap, but there's no drums. Yeah, that kind of drives me a bit mad. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It is still a good album. It was very digestible, very easy to listen to. For me, there wasn't anything stand out on it. It was more of just what you expect from West Side Gun. The tap dancing shit on one of the tunes I thought was pretty cool. So I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10. Other than that, it's really been old music for me this week. Now, it's funny, you mentioned Sturgill Simpson. I've been listening to some Brad Paisley this week. A little bit of Johnny Highland, great country guitar player. I've been listening to some Robin Ford, a bit of Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble, but I Couldn't Stand the Weather, which is a top 5 album for me. Outside of that, really not a lot of hip hop this week, except for been listening to some old Pete Rock beat tapes. So Pete Instrumentals 1, Pete Instrumentals 2, and some Ninth Wonder beat tapes, the Tutankhamun beat tape. Those are just really nice because the beat tapes have no lyrics. So I'm really just digesting the beat and the vibe, and then it can run there in the background. I don't need to be working and trying to digest lyrics and all that kind of stuff and analysing that as it goes along. So big up the instrumental beat tapes this week. They've been really nice in the mornings, just having a coffee, getting through the emails, doing what I need to do for the day, and I just got some music going. Other than that, I've been listening to a bit of metal this week. I've been going back into the old Pantera records, man. Big Dimebag Darrell fan, and a huge Vinnie Paul fan as well. I think Vinnie Paul's drumming, he was never underrated, but I still don't think he gets the shine that he deserved. I think he was world class. But yeah, I've been listening to some old Pantera records. So I've been listening to a little bit of the Great Southern Trendkill this week, a little bit of Vulgar Display of Power, and yeah, that's kind of been it for me this week. I've been really balls deep in that fucking hard drive. So we'll see what comes out the back of it. Haven't watched anything, I don't think. Let me just check the YouTube, but to be honest, nah, it's just the usual shit. Did
you catch Post Malone's Nirvana covers that he did as a fundraiser on YouTube with Travis Barker?
I heard it was bad.
Good, man.
No, I didn't.
It was brilliant, I thought.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Because I've been seeing all this stuff on recently where he's been getting videoed like doing gigs and stuff, or just before the lockdown where he's like on stage, eyes rolling about his head, looks like he's completely off his head on like ketamine or ecstasy, something like that.
No, definitely. If you've not checked it out, like I'm a big Nirvana fan, so I was quite hesitant, but I kept seeing previous guest Steph going on about it on Facebook, so I checked it out, man, and the cunt's got some voice on him, by the way. Like, you wouldn't think it.
He's apparently, that's the thing about him. Yeah, he does essentially rap music. Let's call it trap, right? But he's actually like a huge fan of things like Nirvana, bands like Pantera. He's a huge fan of Stevie Ray Vaughan, for fuck's sake. I'm like,
country fan as well. Like, he's done a couple.
Huge country fan, yeah.
But he played guitar and sang, and he had a couple other guys. And he had Travis Barker on the drums, so it was like actually really well put together and sounded fucking fantastic.
Can I just throw one more in there just to wrap up? One song, I'm not really a big fan of the artist, but the song, if I can just quickly give you the backstory, there's a famous mixer in the recording industry, a guy called Chris Lord Alge, and he's famous for, just Google him and look at the records that he's mixed. He does, there's a thing on YouTube, a series called Mix with the Masters. So these like top class engineers are sitting breaking down how they mixed a record. And the record that he was mixing down for this particular episode was a country song by a woman called Carrie Underwood. Jade, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Carrie Underwood. It's a tune called Smoke Break. And it's not really my cup of tea per se, but actually having then watched him mix it and then really just listening to the song and analysing it and then having it on repeat days afterwards, what a fantastic song. Really, really is. It's a bit Christian-y and a bit that sort of southern kind of
really
she's
Iowa country either.
Yeah, she's really it comes from a real sort of Christian angle, if you like, you know, but yeah, it's a really, really great song. It's catchy, it's well written, it's beautifully recorded and mixed. And the breakdown, if anyone's interested, is on YouTube as well. So because of watching the breakdown, listening to the song, gave me a whole new other appreciation for a track I might not have maybe given the time of day before. Let's put it that way. Carrie Underwood, Smoke Break. Definitely worth checking out.
Tremendous. Lovely.
Nice one. Love it.
Check it out.
Tremendous. Right, well, we wrap this shit up for another week then, lads. Any other business?
Shut up, B.
Nice. Right, well, thank you, Jay. Jay, do you want to give us the details on the breakers and shit?
Yeah, man. Really, Facebook's probably the easiest way to get in touch with us. But you know, not just the Breakers as well. You know, but all of baseball Scotland. I mean, you know, I know you guys got listeners from all over. You know, so if anybody's around the Edinburgh area, check out the Baseball Scotland webpage, and they'll have links to all the area teams. Again, there's a couple teams in Aberdeen. There's 3 in Edinburgh. 2 in Glasgow, and then of course us for those that are around the Fife area. But yeah, Facebook's a good way. Or if you don't do Facebook, just an email to us at tayportbaseballclub@gmail.com, and we'll sort you out from there.
Okay. Right. Well, like I say, we'll definitely have next time when we're allowed to do this back in person. We'll definitely get something done in the flesh with a few drinks.
Yeah, man.
And barbecued smoked meats.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good.
Nice one. Well, thank you everyone for sticking with us. If you could subscribe on the YouTube channel, share the shit out with the links when we get it. Obviously, we're trying to get everyone back on board now that we're doing this for video for the foreseeable. So, like, review, subscribe, give us a wee thumbs up on the old YouTube. You can find me on Twitter at Wagwan Patrice. Podcast is Monkey Sword Fight Podcast on Facebook. Mikey Dots.
I am also on Twitter at _MDats.
Before I give you my Twitter, can I just say we're that close to 100 subs on YouTube. Once we get our 100 subscribers on YouTube, then we can get a proper youtube.com/Monkey Sword Fight URL and all that kind of stuff as well. So, can you please drop us a sub? You'll find me on Twitter cutting about loving the rain at Macapella.
Right. Thank you so much, guys. We will speak to you next week. Peace.